resolution appointing Cliff Spencer, Chief of Police of Mount Holly Township Police Department. Can you go first?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burgess?
Yes.
Mr. Falco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Chief Spencer,
Sir.
come for the swearing in. Yeah, invite your family as well.
I state your name.
I, Clifford Spencer,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
And I will faithfully,
And I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly
impartially, and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of Police Chief
of the office of Police Chief
for the Township of Mount Holly
for the Township of Mount Holly
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
I guess this is the point where I actually got to talk to a crowd at the room. That's fine. Thank you guys so much. There's so many people to thank in this room. Family, friends, my wife, my kids, my colleagues, present and past. I love seeing the faces here in the room. You don't get to this level without the support from all of you, and I am eternally grateful for that. Council, thank you for your vote of confidence. Thank you for entrusting in me and investing in me. And I just ask you to continue that investment into these officers here, because I'm just the face. These guys are the workhorse. These are the men and women who do the work. And to the community, you're going to see us more. We're going to be very transparent, more involved, back to our grassroots. And again, thank you so much. This has been an honor. So thank you.
All right, you guys remain in please. All right. So let's move into our next item on the docket. We have a resolution 2025-86, a resolution appointing Nicholas Lalena, Captain of the Mount Holly Township Police Department. Can we get a motion?
So moved.
We have a first? We have a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burgess?
Yes.
Mr. Falco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. Captain Lalena, you invite your family up, please, and get sworn in.
Ready? All right. I state your name.
I, Nicholas Lalena,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
And I will faithfully,
And I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly
impartially, and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of Captain
of the office of Captain
for the Township of Mount Holly
for the Township of Mount Holly
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. What Cliff said.
again, he said everything I want to say. I appreciate the support, appreciate this township. It was it's crazy to think how long I've actually been here and how old I've got since I started here. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, if you guys want to give Captain Lalena and Chief Spencer another round of applause. But if you guys have plans afterwards, then you can allow you guys to exit gracefully.
Thank you. Thanks.
Quietly. Thanks, sir.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Hello, sir. How are you? How's it go? Huh? Okay. All right.
Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. You're gonna be in trouble. I had seen her for ages and
All right, guys, please take your seats if you're staying. If you can move up to the front, or move closer to the front, that'd be great. All right, let's proceed.
All right.
We have a few communications. We already had the swearing in of our new captain and our new chief. And for our communications, we have a public hearing. This is a public hearing for our Burlington County Municipal Parks Development Grant Program. Please, if you have any questions or comments, please say that to the public portion of the comments after this. And now let's proceed. We have an approval of minutes from the May 15th, 2025 council meeting. Any questions? Can we get a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a first? We have a second? Roll call, please.
Ms. Astor?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have a few ordinances to read. These ordinances are first reading by title only, so there will be no public comments on these particular ordinances. That will be done at the second hearing, which should occur at a later time. So we have an ordinance 2025-8, amending ordinance 2021-1 of the Township of Mount Holly Municipal Code. Can we get a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a first. Can we get a second? We have a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Baxter? Yes. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. Vaca?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. We have an ordinance 2025-9, authorizing the sale of real property to adjacent owners. It's the alley between Mill and Greenleaf. Can we get a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. We have a first. We have a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Baxter? Yes. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. Vaca?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ordinance 2025-10, authorizing the sale of property at block 109, lot 21 to adjacent owners on Lincoln Avenue. Can we get a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a first.
Second.
We have a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Baxter? Yes. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. Vaca?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, and last ordinance, we have ordinance 2025-11, authorizing the sale of property at block 109, lot 22 to adjacent property owners on Lincoln Avenue.
Motion to approve.
We have a first.
Second.
We have a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Baxter? Yes. Mr. Brown? Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burkus?
Yes.
Mr. Vaca?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. Thank you. All right, we have matters presented by the public. This is the public portion comment where you have to raise your comment. Members of the public are invited to submit comments during the public comment portion of this meeting. The council, pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, will not publicly discuss personnel matters and may choose not to respond to comments made by members of the public during this portion of the meeting. However, the council will give all comments appropriate consideration and we refer all individual complaints to the township manager or appropriate township representative for resolution. Each citizen will be allotted up to 4 minutes to speak in order to allow everyone an opportunity to express their opinions and or concerns. So we're gonna start with the first row. Anyone in the first row?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Susan, I live 9811 Drive. And I'm just curious, Mr. Mayor, how is the RV graduation day? How it went?
What was your question?
One more time, Louis.
How the graduation RV went?
Graduation?
Yeah.
You can ask Deputy Mayor, his son graduated and how?
Very well. Well, Kim and I were there and it was packed, a beautiful night, it did rain, and everyone behaved themselves. So it was a wonderful evening.
And I can answer, Mr. how the graduation went from your part.
No, it was great.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it. And thank you for Kim for visiting my mom who's still recovering at the rehab for her injury. I appreciate that. Second question, can you explain two resolutions, 2025-79 and 2025-84?
You said 79 and 84?
Yes.
79 is the sale of municipal owned property on 3032 High Street. That's the shoestring. That's going out for RFP, so we have to put that as a resolution to go out for RFP. And 84 is appointing EV Solutions LLC as a difference card maker for the healthcare coverage for the township boards, right?
There was a 3-year agreement, 3-month agreement on that. The state came back and said they wanted a 1-year agreement.
So we had to redo it to a 1-year agreement? It was on the last meeting, right? So the state wanted us to update it to instead of 3 versus to 1. Okay.
And I told my just curious question, how I get the bill list of just a current bill list of the township? Is that public record or can I see how how it goes? I'd like to see a copy of it.
You're asking for a copy of the bill list?
Yeah.
After the bill list has been approved tonight, Louis, then absolutely I can get you a copy if you want to,
Okay, I appreciate it.
request one from me tomorrow, I can email it to you or
Everything.
whatever you would like.
And I love walking. I mean, I love walking from where I work at the Lumberton about 1:30 in the morning. I say one of the cops stopped. I said, "You need a ride?" I said, "Cool, appreciate it." Like, you know, it's nice and peaceful, and I appreciate it. You know, the Appointing kind of finding bags, and you know, starting to abuse from the ICE. I know something good, but I love Appointing fighting against them. We have to protect our people, and we have to protect our employees. Thank you, Appointing County. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Louis. Anyone else in that first row? Move on to the second row.
Good evening, Michael Roth. Good evening, Michael Rothmill, 33 Union Street. I missed the past couple months, and it's nice to see, number one, microphones. Very pleasant and very good to hear you, it's great. And number two, I understand there's a real lack of bipartisanship as Jim Logan got appointed to the MUA, which I think was really great. And I think that's nice. I just wanted to talk about the 3032 High Street sale. Number one, I think paragraph 6 in the ordinance is wrong because the minimum bid is $150,000 and the bidder is required to post a minimum deposit of 10% of the bid or $10,000. That should be $15,000. I think that's probably the type of graph.
It's not. I would urge you as a counselor of law to read the statute. That's exactly right from the statute.
Oh, what the? Oh, 10,000. Oh, 10,000 is the minimum bid.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I thought when I saw 10%, I thought 10%. Okay.
No, it's fine.
So 10,000 is the minimum deposit. And when will a decision be made whether it's going to be by public auction or sealed bid? How does that work?
Again, Mike, we're following the statute. There's no specific requirement. I'm going to leave that up to the UEZ director as to how he'd like to conduct that, as long as it's within the four corners of the statute. If he wants to do it by sealed bid, he can do it by sealed bid. If he wants to do it by bring your proposal in on a specific date. I think the plan right now is to submit your proposal by the date set forth in the.
Oh, no, I was wondering when the decision will be made as whether it be sealed bid or public auction.
You know, I have not talked to the UEZ director about that.
Okay.
Josh and I'll follow up with him.
Oh, okay. And then, also, please, no more hair places. We have enough hair places on High Street. Please look for something else that's more retailish oriented. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else in the second row? All right, let's move on to the third row. Anyone? All right, let's go to the fourth row.
Jeff Eversmeyer, 203 Broad Street. We're selling those lots in between the properties in between on Greenville and all those other streets. We're selling to the residents, or we just selling, donating to somebody?
They're being offered to the adjacent resident owners.
Okay, so they
Current residents that live adjacent to it.
Okay, and then they're gonna be in charge of maintaining it.
Correct.
Are they gravel or are they roads? The alleys? Are they?
The alleys is grass, it's all the properties are just grass.
Okay, so they're gonna be responsible for maintaining them, so that's good. Another question is, historic preservation was in the forefront back in November, and you guys wanted to, I don't know what's wrong with our current historic preservation ordinances and resolutions, and what's going on? I mean, it's been 7 months, so what's taking so long? Why don't we just grab one from Morristown has a historic preservation, Haddonfield, all these different towns have historic preservation. Why don't we just copy one of theirs, set it forth so we can start having meetings and everything else? Do we have a date? We're gonna start the meetings for historic preservation?
And that's one thing we'll follow up on, because we should have that ordinance back soon, but we'll follow up on that.
Do you know when that's due back from ERI?
Do not know.
Yeah.
We got to follow back up with ERI on that. So I know we had a lot of moving parts, not just with that, but other things too, so we'll get to that.
And then another question I have is, do we have a housing problem? Like I noticed Lumberton, all these high density houses we're building for affordable housing units. Does Mount Holly, I mean, we used to take money from different towns, Morristown, different towns for low income housing back when they had the law, I guess whatever got passed by the state. So do we need low income housing in Mount Holly, or do we have enough of it? Are we required to build more houses or do anything?
Well, we're just currently going through our fourth round of fair share housing, but I'll let Deputy Mayor go.
No, that was point of time.
Okay.
Good evening, Jeff. As was explained, last month when our planner was here, the Department of Community Affairs assigned a specific number of current need and prospective need number of units to every municipality. Ours was 41. Prospective need, and that's based primarily on a really complicated myriad of income formulas, but more importantly, open space calculations. So our planner, I think, did a really nice job of marrying the third round number with and finding overlay zones for the fourth round, where units could be, not guaranteeing that they're going to be built, but could be built in the future. I want to say, almost next to impossible to go back to DCA and say, we think you're wrong here, that 41 units isn't the number, it should be X, whatever X is. I think we tried to go down that path, and that was rebuffed by the courts.
Okay, so do we own any properties down in the Gardens area? Do we have any of that vacant land still in township control, or do we give it all the way to the developers?
It's always been under contract with the developer.
It's on their contract, so we don't own any of that land anymore with Gardens.
We currently own it, but it's under contract.
Okay, so that's not gonna help us. So where would we build 41 homes? I guess that was your question, or 41 residences. The other thing, as far as code enforcement, Rich and I went out and looked at some properties. I haven't heard anything back as to what's going on. Should I go to housing and talk to them and see how we're progressing on those properties? There wasn't many, maybe it probably would have taken one a day.
Yeah, I wanna have an update for you within the next couple days, Jeff, on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I have seen one house that they actually started taking down the fence that was falling down. And the other ones, I really haven't seen much. And one of them's been a problem for many years. So I'd like to see, one last thing, on these department head reports, is that what you do on like clerk, housing, public works, tax, vital? Does the housing department have a report as to what they did that month, and citations or court dates or any of that stuff?
Yeah, we did in the past. I see why we should have it again.
Correct. So if I opened it, then click the housing, I would see what's been done and what's being done on the properties that have done.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Next row.
Hello, good evening. Jennifer Musial, 9 Manor Terrace. I have a couple questions. First, happy Pride Month, happy Juneteenth to all who celebrate and recognize these important national events. I was wondering, has there been any conversation, or what has the conversation been about having flag raisings for either or both of these in the month of June?
We haven't had any discussions of that as of yet. Not to say we won't have in the future.
I would encourage that. I think it's a wonderful thing that towns do that, notes these important points of the year, and are really great showcases of inclusivity to the residents and people who come into town as tourists. So I would just love to see that. But my second question is, can you walk me through the steps between when the township acquires a property and when it goes, when it gets turned over? I don't understand this process. I'm very curious about it.
So are you talking about a particular property?
Not a particular one, just in general what the process is.
Every situation is different.
You
have examples?
Yeah, like for example, the block and lot, or another known as the shoestring, which is on this agenda talking about going for sale. That was a property in which the UEZ acquired years ago and remediated the property, and then now have the opportunity after remediation to present it, since it is a township-owned entity, back to obviously public bidding in some fashion. And the best, obviously, bid will obviously get the property. Obviously, it's not the township's goal to hold any property because we're not a real estate agent. So, any property that we do hold is for the purposes of trying to rehabilitate, like for instance, like the downtown, so it is a UEZ zone. So that falls under the UEZ guidelines and almost like their use statement to try to help and rehabilitate the downtown area. So, that's just one example, but.
Can I ask, what does public bid mean? Where does somebody know that there's gonna be a property up for sale, or up for bidding? How do people find out?
Tom, did you want to elaborate?
Tom, you want to elaborate on that public bid process?
Yes, the statute requires that the notice be posted on the official township website, and that it be posted on township municipal bulletin board. But other than that, it's not going to go, it's not obligated to go in the paper. We're not obligated to enlist the services of a realtor.
And then if it's a residential property, how does that work?
If it's a residential property, no different.
And is it strictly decided based on who the highest bidder is, or is there an additional vetting process around if it's, for instance,
It's the highest.
commercial space? Okay, so there's no well, we don't want that kind of business there that someone might buy it for instance.
Municipalities can craft the bid specifications and tailor it in a way to try to encourage particular uses. It's a real fine line because municipalities have in the past been accused of discriminatory.
Sure.
Right, so we want to keep them really benign. The shoestring, Deputy Mayor DeFalco mentioned, that's such a unique property and the history behind that. The other properties that we have here that are going up for sale to adjacent property owners, there just isn't any municipal purpose associated with those. They're really paper streets, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So it really would benefit the town to not have to continue to maintain those and take those off our insurance rolls.
Okay, so I heard the timer go, but just to clarify, if someone was interested in purchasing a residential property or commercial property, the way they would find that out is by visiting the township website, the municipal bulletin board, to find out what might be available.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of you being here this evening and learning firsthand, but ultimately, yes, monitoring the agendas and saying, hey, geez, I see item J is selling 123 Main Street, or it's going out to bid, and then perhaps getting in touch with Sherry or opening that particular bid spec or ordinance to follow up and see where you want to go with that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next row.
I'll take a second.
My time right here, hopefully you keep me track. Hi, my name is, let me start my timer. Hi, my name is Dave Villalba, 166 Conquest Road. Good evening, members of the board and members of citizens of Mount Holly. Today I would like to use all of my time, no Q&A if I can, please, with all due respect. Initially, I was going to discuss tax, town projects, lack of diversity in businesses in the area, theater, possibly setting that up in the Foundry building, and other such events that can attract people into the town. When I originally came to town, I originally thought and acts and spoke about transparency, integrity, accountability, and growing the town into a better town and prosper in it. But I've seen in the meantime a division between groups, and two groups apparently, and groups having very little respect for the other group, which is not fair. Often leaving out the ladies, with all due respect, Miss the two ladies on the board, and they take an effect, and that takes a burden, and that's a heavy load, and I don't think that's fair that you put that upon them. But I was also like, when it comes to voting, I have noticed that the voting is always 2 to 3, or it's one-sided to the other side. A lot of questions don't get answered and don't get fully respected. I appreciate Mr. DeFalco, who has been answering and has been a gentleman about it and very professional, so I will mention that. I would like to deeply thank the ladies, Ms. Asper and Mrs. Burks, for their professionalism, passion, and hard work to make the town a better town, and I would love to see you continue that. Having said that, I would like to take the time to remember, and in a moment of silence that I have left, to remember the Minnesota representatives, because if you keep up this hostility, it's gonna fall on someone, and I'd rather not fall on the ladies. I like to remember Senator, Representative Melissa Hoffman and her husband Mark Hartman, and as well as Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette, and just have a moment of silence while my 4 minutes are reached. Thank you. I have 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. Thanks.
Hi, Amber Kopervas, 100 Madison Avenue. I just had a couple quick questions, especially after attending Virtual hosted a public meeting a week or two ago. I don't know, the heat is all mushing together. So sometime in the last couple weeks, Virtual had the public information meeting, and I don't think anybody from council was there. But I had a couple of questions about some of the information that was presented there because it kind of conflicted with some of what I've heard here. And I understand that like a final project hasn't been, approved yet, and planning board and all of that, but I just wanted to see if I could get some clarity now on a couple of things. The first was my understanding from when this has been discussed here at council meetings is that they'd be directed to kind of use 38 and come off that way for like construction traffic. And they said that that was not the case when I was at that meeting, that there would be, construction traffic going up and down Madison. I don't know if that's something that's within, the town's control in the first place, since I know it's also a county road. They're actually gonna widen it right in front of my house, which is fine. Like, I'll get a new sidewalk, that'll be cool. So, because again, I've said this before, like I'm not anti them building this tower. I just want to know kind of what's going on literally in my front yard for part of it. So do we know anything about that? Or is there a way to kind of get them to divert traffic so it's not going, we already have a lot of speeding down Madison. just because of its proximity to 38 near the hospital and all of that, if we're then adding a bunch of construction traffic.
It was supposed to go in front of the planning board either August or September, and I think those issues will be addressed.
And typically, things like construction traffic is discussed at a planning board.
Okay.
And typically, kind of like a condition of approval. I mean, minimal enforcement, but even, for instance, I give an example on the planning board. Back when RB went to add their track in the back, and there was a lot of conversation about where those trucks go up and down. And we had to kind of work with them to have the best route to get to someplace in the middle of town. It's gonna upset somebody, but we had to minimize the amount of traffic coming in there. So that was part of that conversation back then, so I fully expect that to be a conversation with this as well.
Okay, all right, I appreciate it, because yeah, and as you know, a lot of our roads, they're a little older, so they're a little more narrow to begin with. And then I was wondering where, because, the woman who presented at Virtua, you know, she was trying to allay some of our fears about the hospital expanding and kind of trying to take over residences and like coming to council and sort of trying to initiate some kind of eminent domain. Like she was trying to kind of, you know, let us know that that wasn't on the horizon, that wasn't anything they were considering. So I was just curious, with all of the back and forth that happened about kind of like the zoning changes and the overlay proposal, did the hospital come to Mount Holly and ask for that, or did Mount Holly sort of come up with that independently?
We had discussions with Virtua in terms of what they wanted to do, and we came to a consensus.
Oh, I mean, that, okay, so I guess what I'm asking is like, did they propose that, like the overlay that originally was gonna kind of be all over the neighborhood, or?
They proposed, you know, in terms of the zoning changes, and then we had worked with our planners to come up with the right one for that particular area.
Okay, all right, thank you. I'm also curious, and this might be part of the plan when it goes to the planning board, so if that's the case, you can just let me know. But the corner there, like Madison and Cedar, where they will be extending it across and all of that, and then they're using, they let us know that they're using the property where they demolished that home that had been saved as sort of a staging area, and somewhere where there will be, like trailers for the, construction workers and things like that. And so with that kind of like back and forth there, is there any consideration for having a sidewalk going down there? There isn't one now. Just curious.
I haven't heard anything about a sidewalk,
Okay.
but that's something that we can, when they come to the planning board, we can discuss.
Okay. And then my last thing is just, another thing I don't know a lot about how it works. But I know since everyone's cell phone kind of has that emergency call button now, there's sort of like a GPS to it or something like that. And I just don't know if there's anything that can kind of assist with that. Last night I was watching TV at like 9:30 at night. There are flashlights in my window because apparently, you know, the GPS kind of directed them in the area of my house. The Mount Holly PD was there, and you know, it was all fine. I went outside and, you know, no one called 911 here. So I just don't know if there's anything that would help them, because obviously someone probably needed help, but it wasn't me. And then it was a little alarming that like flashlights are going in my living room while I'm trying to watch TV in the dark with, you know.
Okay, when did this happen?
Last night.
Last night?
Yeah.
Probably, I mean, none of that.
It's not like a huge deal. I just.
My guess is, because from the cell phone perspective, it's supposed to go to what you have in there. If you have like E911 enabled, it's gonna go to what your home address is supposed to be. But a lot of times you wind up having individuals that get, you know, dismissed from the hospital, and then somebody calls 911.
Right, it could have been.
And then most likely they'll like geolocate, someone called somewhere, it's not their home address, and then they have to go and search the vicinity area. But fortunately, the PD already left, they're gonna go party for promotions tonight, so,
Right.
Otherwise we'd ask them if they
We'll
were
ask
here.
them.
Yeah, just wondering if there was anything that would help them out, because like I
Right.
said, I didn't need help, but somebody might have, so.
Got it.
All right.
Appreciate that, thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else that would like to speak?
Audrey Menzinger, 2 Washington Street. I noticed that tonight you had several ordinances and a resolution authorizing the sale of properties to both by public auction and to the adjoining property owners. was wondering if you could explain to me the criteria that you use to differentiate between when you do one and when you do the other.
Josh, will take that.
The one was just they're adjacent to the property, so we're just selling it, auctioning it off to adjacent property owners. The other one is the downtown property that's open to all the public.
So you just explained to me what I just read, but I didn't understand the criteria that you use when you're doing one and when you're doing the other.
The lot size and the amount, who it's next to.
Could you speak up, please?
The, Ms. Windsor, the local lands and public buildings law permits municipalities either by resolution or ordinance to undertake that, to either take either vehicle.
Understood. I'm not questioning whether you are right in doing one or the other. I'm just asking, you chose one in one case, and then you chose a different way in another case, and I'm just wondering how you pick to go one route and then the other, that's all.
Yeah, when I prepared those ordinances, I can't remember the rationale behind why it was either, but at the end of the day, frankly, it really doesn't matter as long as I've satisfied the statute.
So, you're saying that when it's an undersized lot,
I didn't say whether it's an undersized lot, I just said that I said that we're satisfying the statute.
okay, so I guess I'm trying to figure out when you auction something off and the adjoining property owner is not, offered the property, then, your position is that the statute, allows that, as long as if it's an undersized lot and you have an adjoining property owner that was never notified, then that's okay?
So it sounds like you have a specific question.
No, I'm just
No,
asking.
it does, sounds like you got a specific, so which of the properties do you have a concern with? And maybe, and I'm not trying to be cute with you.
No, I
Maybe I
understand.
can explain specifically why a certain approach was.
I was just wondering, because you picked two different approaches, both of which I understand are allowed under the statute.
Right.
I'm not questioning that.
Yeah.
Just asking, what prompts you to do one in one case and what prompts you to do the other in another case? That's all I was just asking, what, you had to use some criteria, I'm thinking, and I was just wondering which that was.
Yeah, it's not like municipalities, look at this municipality, rarely do we have legislation on the agenda that authorizes the sale. So just in my own craziness, so I don't deviate from the statute, I always go to the statute and make sure that in particular instances and particular factual circumstances, one legislative vehicle over the other is used to suit that particular. I honestly, I don't remember, because it was prepared 3 weeks ago, why that was
Understandable.
done.
A lot goes on, so that's fine. Okay, so you used some criteria, you had to use some criteria, but you're not, right now being able to recall that.
Right.
Okay.
I can sit here and tell you that I wouldn't put the township at risk if anybody decided to come forward and say, well, geez, this wasn't the appropriate legislative vehicle to do that.
Repeat that? I'm sorry.
My opinion is that we're following the right steps.
Okay, all right, fine. I'm understanding that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else need a chance to speak, that again, a chance to speak?
I'd like to.
Yeah, how's it going?
Good. Julia Baker, D. Camillo, 316 New Bolts Corner Road, Lumberton. I'm here as a guest tonight. And I'm here because I care. Spent a lot of time in this township, and I'm just wondering, out of all of you that are involved with the town council, land use, and running your lovely town, does anyone take notice of your housing stock? Does anyone notice how deplorable the majority of the houses are right on Mill Street that people who are trying to keep their homes nice live next to. Has anyone literally driven down that street and looked? That you have houses that have had windows that people live in with plywood over them for 6 months. You have roofs falling off, you have siding falling off, you have the backs of houses that haven't had their yards cut in 2 years. There's a flop house right at the bend that, someone's paying rent, and yet there's no landlord being made accountable. And I just wanted to bring it to the attention on record, because I find it to be really sad for the residents of Mount Holly, the majority of who care and work hard to make this town lovely. And the downtown area, which was revitalized over 25 years, and people worked really hard to do that. I was one of them. It doesn't matter if your housing stock is falling apart. And your housing stock, some of it, honestly, Camden looks better, and that's saying a lot. I'm not putting Camden down by saying that, but most people would say the housing stock in Camden is some of the worst in the state. And I just think that you shouldn't put that kind of burden on the people that pay taxes in this town. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, I'm seeing none. Be closing the public portion. We're gonna move on to the consent agenda. All items listed with asterisks are considered routine by council and will be enacted by one motion. Should a council member wish to discuss a consent agenda item separately, that item can be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence. Before we begin, is there any questions or anything?
We're not approving that, right? We're gonna ask questions and then.
Correct.
Okay.
Right, so there
So we
you,
can just ask Chuck questions now?
ask them now.
Get them out of the way.
Correct.
May I start?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Just made an assumption there. Just a couple clarifying questions, because I haven't actually experienced this yet. Authorizing the sale of the property, we checked them out, obviously, they're like small alleys or like paper streets. Who are we authorized, so they all of these properties connect with more than one, other block or lot or other lot? Who are we going to approach to offer to purchase these?
It's only, Kim, it's only a portion of the alley that's being released, and it's only being offered to the two people on each side that it affects.
Okay, so it's also,
Yeah.
it's going to be offered though to multiple, so if it's touching more than one, then we're, okay, so,
Right.
and, okay.
And I think there's been some discussions between representatives of the township and property owners, so we sort of know in advance who's interested and who's not.
Right, so
But
that's,
again,
is that what precipitates this usually, is there?
yes.
Sitting there?
Right. Yeah, and so again, the facts and backstory understand why we proceeded in a certain manner.
Yep, okay. And then my other question is about the, sale of the shoestring, just use shorthand on that one. I believe somebody asked when that is going to be, posted for bid. Do we know when that's going to go up for sale? And then what is the duration? Like, is it posted for 30 days? Like, is there a minimum amount of time that people have to become aware of that and get their bids together?
Yeah, Kim, I'm not sure if I don't believe it's in the agenda packet, but there was a detailed RFP that was posted that specifically says what the conditions are and when the bids are due. So it's not something that's gonna like linger on to September or October.
So what you're saying is, there's a more detailed, does that more detailed, RFP bid document also outline if it's going to be open bid or closed bid?
I believe so. I don't have it in front of me, but again, it's at the discretion of the UEZ director.
Okay.
Either way, no particular bidder is going to feel in any way outmanned or discriminated against. It'd be one way or the other, it'd be a level playing field.
And then, so there's some sort of, reasonable amount of time that is given for people to get their bid?
Yes.
It's in that specification.
It's specifically in that.
Okay, I don't think I saw that, but I don't know if it was,
I mean, typically some have 45 days, some 60 days.
Okay.
Depends what's in
Okay.
that particular document.
all right, I will, follow up and ask for a copy of that. Those are the only questions I had.
Okay. Ms. Astor, you have it?
For the, recreation improvement grant, can we just explain to the public what is going, what are we getting grants, is it our set aside for particular things?
I believe so. The first one is 2577. 78.
77 is for last year's. I think they're doing improvements to the concession stand at Ironworks Park and a few other items. 78 is implementation. It's already a grant. It was already approved, again, put into our budget, and it's for workout equipment around walking track and other.
Okay.
All right.
And that is it, thank you.
Ms. Brown, you have any questions? Nothing there?
I have no questions.
All right. So seeing there's no more questions in regards to the consent agenda, so we have resolutions 25, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 87, 88, the approval of the bill list, approval of department head reports, all in one motion. Can we get a first?
A motion to approve.
We have a first. We have a second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Astor? Yes. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Burgess?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Mr. Banks?
Yes. Thank you. All right, matters presented by our township manager, Josh Evans.
Not Your Honor, but I wish you a happy birthday today.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Tom, you have anything?
Thank you, Mayor. Happy birthday.
Okay, thank you.
I think I've said enough.
I think you said it, I appreciate it, thank you. Starting with Ms. Burgess, you have anything?
Just a couple quick things. Of course, it's a great, great day in Mount Holly. I'm very excited and congratulate Chief Spencer and Captain Lalena. It's exciting to see, to continue to see people being added to the team and then moving through the ranks. So, I'd love for us all to make sure we shake their hand again and wish them all the best, and we're here to support. As in regards to, and Jennifer, thank you for reminding me about this, in regards to any sort of celebrations or appreciation or whatever, to Juneteenth specifically, I did notice that there's the 8th year anniversary of the Melanin Market that's happening on June 21st, 10 to 5 in Milldam, right? So I don't honestly know the extent to which us as a municipality are involved in the planning and or resourcing for that, but it is happening and it's a place where we can go visit and be a part of recognizing Juneteenth. Again, that is not on Juneteenth, it's on the 21st. Happy birthday to you, and I'm super impressed that both our mayor and our deputy mayor both celebrated their recent birthdays with us here at a council meeting. So wow, feel super special about that. And thanks everybody for coming, and we'll see you next month.
Cool, thank you, Ms. Burgess. Ms. Aston?
So, in regards to the bid for the shoestring at 3032 High Street, it was stated that the information will be on the township website. Will that be on the home page or the UBC page? Like, where can someone find the information to bid on it? Do we know? Yeah.
Main page.
Okay, thanks. Just,
Right up front.
Put it on the main page, if it's not there already.
Okay, great, thank you.
It might be on the music. Okay, we have to reverse it and put it out there. Got it. So it will be on the main page. Once it's been approved, the consent agenda will be on the main page. Okay.
Great. And in regards regards to, Ms. Baker Camilo from Lumberton, I agree, I think our code enforcement needs a little bit of help. I've heard from quite a few residents, and commenting on how some properties are just definitely in violation of code enforcement and needs to be dealt with. And then in regards to, anything in regards to events, you already stole my thunder. I was gonna talk about Juneteenth. So happy birthday to your banks. And again, you know, tomorrow is Juneteenth, and if you don't know the history of it, you should definitely read up on it. It's a fascinating story, and I'm glad that we're finally celebrating it. And also it's Pride Month, so happy Pride, be proud of who you are, love yourself, be nice to everybody. Just a great time to, you know, be proud of yourself and not be afraid to be who you are. And I don't think we have any other events coming up in June. Fireworks coming up. And just thank you all for coming. We've had to change a few times, so I'm happy that you all kept up with it, showed up on Wednesday.
Should have done it just project.
Anyway, I'm done. Thank you for coming. It's the middle of the week on a Wednesday. Last minute, so.
Thank you, Ms. Astor. Mr. Brown?
I'm sorry about the weather for Senior Citizens Day, but we had no anything behind it, you know, in this nature. But we're going to do this in probably the middle of July. Everything's going to be the same. We're going to try to go the same route. And I'm sorry for the senior citizens. We're going to look out for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Deputy Mayor?
Thanks, just happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
Now I'm gonna put it on my calendar, so you can't hide it anymore. Just real quick, obviously, July is around the corner. The weather is turning into be unpredictable, as you can tell with the next couple of days. We're gonna go into things that exceed 100 degrees on some days, some heat warnings. So stay safe, stay cool. If you know any elderly people, please keep an eyeball on them to make sure that their air conditioning is running in their homes as well. But with that being said, pop-up storms do occur. Keep us all in your prayers for July 3rd. I'd love to have another uneventful from the weather, but eventful evening for everybody else in Ironworks Park. Right now, I start watching the weather every day, and I have pretty bad weather anxiety because that's a big event for everybody. So right now it looks good, but of course the weather changes daily. So again, the event's on the 3rd. We have a nice lineup of music. We have our fireworks. We have free rides again for all the kids and parents that are there. About 35 food vendors are going to be there. And it's going to be a great time. So bring out your family and enjoy a nice evening on the town in Ironworks Park. Aside from that, that's all I have this evening.
Cool, thank you, Rich. I'll be brief. Thank you, everybody, for their comments and questions coming out tonight as well. Thank you for everybody who spoke. In regards to events, I know we can't control the weather. I wish we could, but we can't. But we still try to put on events as much as possible, and we'll let you know when there's a rain date. In regards to Juneteenth, the Lalena Market is having something this weekend, but RV, they do their event every year. They don't do it on Juneteenth. They did it 2 weeks ago. So it's normally like around June 9th or 10th. It was on a Friday. So for the last 4 years, they've done that. So I'd like to see more, people participate. I don't know how they advertise that for the most part, but we can maybe work with them and let them know.